Hello and welcome back to the Boutique Digital YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about everybody's favorite topic at the moment, and that is trial reels. So I'm going to tell you what they are, I'm going to tell you how to use them, I'm going to tell you why you use them, I'm going to tell you how to create some stuff, find some insights to help you with your future content. And I'm just going to also give a bunch of do's and don'ts in terms of the best way to utilize this feature, but also get the best results because that's what we're after, first of all. So let's just start and talk about what trial reels actually are. So it's a new Instagram feature and it's a way to test drive a reel by showing it to non-followers. So it doesn't appear on your profile or to your followers. It goes onto the main feed for people to be able to search and come up. So the purpose of it is to it's basically like a virtual focus group, if you will. So you get real feedback on your hooks, on your editing, on your audio, on your captions before committing to basically sending it out there to your followers and it flopping because it doesn't have all the things it needs to do. So why I suggest using them is it's really a risk-free experimentation. So you can go out with there with your crazy ideas, your bold ideas, your creative ideas, try some new niches. If you're shifting your focus or your target audience, you can change your formats, you can change your effects, and it will not affect your current branding because it won't actually live on your feed. And it won't, I guess, disrupt any of your existing followers, and then you reduce that churn risk. The other reason to use Instagram trial reels is data-driven decisions. So this is, if you are part of the agency, you will know that I harp on this all the time because insights like this and data-driven decision making is really how you're going to maximize anything you do in your business, regardless of the social media or just generally. Okay, so what trial reels gives you is access to like dedicated insights, right? So we're talking views, we're talking likes, we're talking watch time, we're talking saves, shares, all that from non-followers, so you can actually see what truly resonates and the type of audience that you're attracting with that new type of content that you're creating. It also allows you to expand your audience as well. So it'll allow you to identify which content hooks grow fresh eyes and drive new follows without cluttering your current feed, which is super important. So let's talk about who can access trial reels. So basically, your account must be on a professional account, so you can be a creator or business, either, and you must have the latest Instagram app or updated version. If your phone's anything like mine, it will tell you all the time it needs to be updated. So how to create your trial reel. So basically, you film and edit your reel as per usual, and then on your share screen, it will toggle. You can toggle onto trial before posting, and then you publish it, and then basically Instagram will then push it out to a sample of non-followers. So once you've done that, given it a little bit of time, what you're going to want to do is review your insights. So where you can find those is if you go to your profile and the Reels tab, and then it will have draft and trial Reels card, the first top left-hand one, and then select trial Reels, and then do the view Reel insight. So the kind of metrics, as I said, that you can see on this and that you want to have a little bit of a look at is views, likes, comments, shares saved, account reach. I'm pretty sure you can actually also have a look at replays in there as well. So what you want to do is also note your watch time, so like min and max, and then the average watch time. So a tip from me here is after 24 to sort of 72 hours, if your performance meets your criteria, then you can share it to all your followers from like, and you can do it directly from the insight screen that I spoke about, or you can set it to auto publish for you. So some best practices and testing tips I will give you. So don't just post it and hope for the best. Put a little bit of thought into the intention as to why we're doing what we're doing. So to define a clear hypothesis. So get like scientific with it. So only ask a specific question and then really ask yourself which hook drives the most watch through. And then that is the only element that can vary. So test specific parts of your content for each of them. Don't change your tone, the music that you usually use, your fonts, any graphics or anything like that. Don't change them all in one. Change one part over a couple and see which one works, because then you can eliminate your variable drift. So keeping, like I said, captions the same, hashtags the same, location tags, all other factors identical across your test versions. Then you can literally just test the one particular factor that you're trying to see what that does to your new audience that we're going out to. So you can really use trial reels and get far fewer views than regular. So like 100 to 200 compared to trial versus not trial, okay, and versus live again. So some starter test ideas that I have. So use your audio A/B testing. So use a trending audio perhaps instead of original VO and ambient sound. Okay, there are a few different testing variables you can try. Hook variations. So if you spend 10 minutes on Instagram, you'll know that they're all about hooks and all of that sort of stuff to increase watch time. So what you want to do is test your hooks. So you can do, here's how to, you won't believe, stop scrolling if. All right, these are some of our pretty typical hook variations that you'll kind of see. And then test with length experiments. So 15 seconds versus 30 seconds versus 60 seconds, and make it the same piece of content, just cut it to different lengths of time. So you can actually, again, test, are your audience more of the short form, attention grabby kind of audience that need kind of that 7 to 15 second kind of real length to make sure that they're keeping your attention, or are your reels more involved and people do have that longer time and attention expansion, and you can actually go to 60 seconds or even longer. Okay, so that's another one you can test. The other one you can test is editing style. So again, this is something that everybody talks about, is editing style. So fast cuts versus smooth transitions, if you will. So if you want like fast, impactful things coming out of your screen, captions everywhere, words, text, all that kind of stuff. Or is it more smooth transitions where it's kind of like a fade in, or they're minimal rotating captions and more kind of like a headline piece of text as opposed to things going on all the time. So that's a really good one to test. And then finally, caption styles. So again, if you watched our previous video, you'll know, but it's everywhere, that basically Google is indexing your Instagram captions now. So you can actually make your captions a lot more longer form, and then they'll be indexed by Google. And it really is a great way for anybody to be visibly seen just by putting that teeny little bit of extra effort into our captions. So you can test with caption styles, so you can do story driven, so you can really go in War and Peace and go nuts and chuck all the detail in, or you can do something like bullet points and see if you can still kind of get the same message across, but you just kind of squeeze in the period of time that you're kind of talking about, and then maybe a question prompt, so really inciting those engagement pieces through your captions as well. So our process and client deliverables. So here is what I would kind of recommend, and what we do for our clients is basically we do 1 to 2 trial reel versions, and I make them less than 30 seconds each. And then typically I leave it to sort of like 3 to 5 days, just kind of sort of see what it's doing. And then our clients will come back to us and say, hey, this is working, this didn't work. Can we try this next? And it's really kind of a collaborative process where we work together to get the best outcome, and then we utilize all of the analytics, and then we adapt to that strategy moving forward. So a few do's and don'ts for your trial reels, and something just to keep in the back of your mind. So toggle trial every time before you publish to non-followers. So it's the only way that you can actually access the trial reel insight. So just make sure set a clear kind of test that you're trying to do, or hypothesis. So like we'll hook A or hook B, hold your attention longer, and only vary one element per test. And then measure within 24 to 72 hours. So check your views, check your watch time, check your saves, check your likes, check your shares, all of that before you decide to push it live. If it flops, don't push it. If it does well, obviously push it. Use trending audio versus original sound to see which drives higher engagement. Again, that's another test we can run. And then you can also compare trial to trial. So not trial to regular reels, trial versus trial. So trial reels obviously reach far fewer people, so only it's a benchmark against others. So don't test or compare, I should say, a trial reel versus an actual reel, because they're just not playing in the same ballpark. And a few don'ts and a few recommendations I will give you is, as I said, don't compare your trial reel metrics to your standard reel metrics, because they're just not in. Don't exceed 20 trial reels in a single day. So they've capped it at that. I mean, if you're pushing out that many pieces of content, I take my hat off to you, because that's amazing. But yeah, don't go over that 20 limit mark. Otherwise they'll start to, cut the length of anything being amplified on your profile, and that's not what we want. Don't change multiple variables at once. Don't change your hook, don't change your audio, don't change the length. You will have no idea what actually was the thing that moved the needle in your content after that. And don't ignore your non-follower feedback. So if there are particular comments that are like, oh, okay, that's different, I don't normally get that kind of feedback, really think about that. and saves as well. So you can predict a broader audience kind of reception based off of these trial reels. And finally, don't rush to publish. Okay, do your due diligence, do your homework, really dive into the data and have a look and let the data actually guide you. Because if you are going to put the effort into actually utilizing this feature, really utilize it to its full advantage and make sure that you're really looking into those insights, because otherwise you may as well just keep your normal posting schedule and not bother you and not, spend the time creating different variations of things purely just to trial them to a smaller pool of audience. So we highly recommend doing trial reels, especially because I personally will absolutely nerd out on all of the data that we get from doing trial reels. And it just is the most risk-free and audience least disrupting way to really test if you want to go on a new angle, or you're trying to attract a new audience, or you're trying to really just get feedback on how your content is landing. And it's a really good way to say, like, this is the audience I am looking for, this is my current audience. If we do some trial reels, really kind of targeting this audience, and then you'll see the disparity between the two. So am I nailing the new target audience metrics? Am I really connecting with them? Are they responding well to this versus the current one? And can we start to shift across and it not be as much of a disruptive, break in programming to what people expect your normal content to be? So these are our tips. If you want more of this type of content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have our social media shorts as well where we pop this over. But yeah, I hope this helped, and I will see you in the next video.